Hello everyone, I hope all of you are doing very fine. And today's topic is statistics. I hope you already know this. So, firstly, quickly just tell me how's the quality of our broadcast, like how are you liking it out of 10? You can just let us know so that we could also know that how are we doing. And for today's topic, which is statistics, there is a lot of thing which I'm going to tell you, and I will tell you the flow of the class also. So, assuming you have already rated the quality of our broadcast moving forward, tell me, guys, how is your preparation for exam out of three? Like three for the best and one for like just little, some disaster happened. Also two for the average ones. And like any of you, you can just be honest to yourself and just let us know that how is your preparation for exam going. So for anyone who is in two or who is in one, I would hope that you will be to the level of three with us, okay? And we will do much more better, okay? We will excel in your JEE marks. And what is the focus of today's webinar? See, the class is going to be about 1 hour, okay? And this 1 hour should make you +4 in your JEE, okay? That +4 that question which comes from statistics, you should be able to do that question, okay? That is the focus of our class. I'm not going to teach you in vain. Like if I'm teaching you anything and if you are studying, then let's just make that thing very productive and just like let's just not lose that +4 marks, guys. Statistics is a very easy subject, okay? All you need to do is just put a command in all the theory, all the formulas, and you're good to go. Like this is one question which you cannot afford to leave, okay? So if you are doing this 1 hour webinar, then I hope that you are getting that +4 marks in your JEE, okay? Shivani, yeah, there was thing too, Palan. Yeah, I know. Like many of you says too, because also we like this is the tendency. We try to fall in the average thing, but we want to be best. So if you want to be best, then you have to be best. Okay. So for that thing, for that level, for that excel, especially you girls, like you should rock, man. You should be at the third level. Okay. So everyone, let's just hope that you get to the level of 3 as soon as possible, and this webinar should be most useful to you all, and you will be able to get that +4 marks in a statistics question. Okay. Now, anyone of you does not know my name is Krishvi Srivastava. You can call me Krishvi, no issues. So I'm a software developer, and when I got this opportunity to teach maths, I was like, because from my childhood I used to tell that maths is my favorite subject. And I tell you what, whenever my scores like the graph goes down, maths was a subject who was like, no, I am here to support you. So when I was like, when we have supported each other since such a long time, then why should I just not try this opportunity? Okay. So that is why here I am, like with you guys, teaching you all this math subject. I hope you guys enjoy it more. Okay. Uh, Telling you about a course, the Altedemy course. See, we have this 90 plus classes. The 90 plus classes tends so that you can just score the full, obviously not that, but at least 60 plus marks. Okay. And in the math subject. Okay. And we have this convenient educational platform, like talking about convenience. You are studying from your home and I am teaching you from here. Like what else can it be? Like so convenient. Okay. Syllabus from J Experts, like this syllabus is designed, any one of you who faces issues in your timetable and faces issues in managing your course, then the syllabus is designed by the experts, so you don't need to worry, and you can just let us know that wherever you are facing any problem, we are here to help you out. We have this amazing flipped classroom method. I hope you already know this. So what is it about? See, this is followed in many big universities. We have this this was even experimented in Harvard University, that the efficiency increases by following the flipped classroom method. See, what it does is, I give you the PDF material before the webinar, and after the webinar you can solve the questions. I give you the homework PDF, that is some test PDF. You can solve that questions on your own, and after that I have this homework solution video also. Okay. So for anyone who is not able to do the questions, they can go through that video and they can get to do that. Okay, this was a problem, they were getting stuck at that point, and they can just solve that question. Also, we have this doubt solving practice. Any one of you is facing any doubt, they can just let us know. We have this one-to-one mentorship. So this was about the flipped classroom method. This is shown in the pictorial method: theory, study material, webinar, homework check. Okay, done. That was about the flipped classroom method. Okay, now Payal Ram is saying hello, ma'am. Payal, hello. Shivani and Payal are saying too. Okay, yeah, I answered that thing. Okay, so telling you about the plans, you can select any of the plan out of this three. See, But the proficient one is for the one who has done the course and they want something else, above average. They have studied the course and now they want the proficient things. For the smart, they can go with, every one of you can go with the smart plan. Okay. Now, statistics. Statistics is our topic. Okay, I hope you have already studied, like I have studied statistics in my junior classes as well. So I hope you have already studied that and you are familiar to the terms like mean, median, mode and all. But here comes the difference. Okay, I'll let you know as you will walk through the course. Okay, so firstly, as we are telling, I'm teaching you statistics for the one goal, that is for your J. So I should tell you that what is the weightage and what are the types of question that come, so that you can be familiar that this is the question, these are the types of question which I should study. So firstly, weightage, see, one question comes in your J. Okay, like one question, that means +4. Okay, so when you see this +4, you need to get that +4, that fetch that +4 marks, guys. Let's like don't leave that question, because statistics is something which you don't have to, you don't have to think a lot in that. You know that these are the values given, you know that this is some form, these are the some formulas, and only these are the formulas that are going to be used. So when you know everything, then how can you just leave that question? It is just when you see that formula, you have different numbers, you have a lot of numbers there, then you just skip that question. See, oh my god, there are so many calculations, so maybe I make a mistake. No, you cannot make a mistake, you need to make practice out of it. Okay, see, and now we have, I thought let's make some pictorial representation today, because I'm an engineer and I suck in pictorial representation. So we have these three types. We have mean and median types of question, we have variance and standard deviation question, and we have this mean deviation. So there are three types of question, and out of these three only the question comes. Okay, so first type, that is the mean and median. Mean and median, I hope you already know the average thing. It just comes. Variance and standard deviation, variance is the standard deviation square. Okay, mean deviation, the dispersion of that data. No, don't worry, I'm not just finishing up the topic, I'm just letting you, like just giving you a line about this topics. Okay, so any one of you who does not know, you don't need to panic, we will cover it all today. We will cover every theory and we will cover the questions as well. Firstly, just get yourself added to a Telegram channel. Like we have this PDF material, which I already told before the webinar. Free classes, announcements, discounts and prices. So all the announcements are all, all the updates of our channel, all the updates of our Altedemy, you can get to know by adding yourself to this Telegram channel. Just scan the code right now and get yourself added to the Telegram channel. It's free of course, guys. Just scan the code and get yourself added to the Telegram channel right now. So now talking about firstly terms. So firstly, I'll tell you how is the flow of class going to be. See, the flow of class is going to look like, firstly, I'll tell you about all the terms which you use in statistics. Okay, terms, telling you about all the theory. Okay, I'll tell what does it mean. Okay, definition wise, practical wise. Okay, then the formulas with that, and after those formulas, all the all the divisions, and then I'll tell you some shortcuts even. And after those shortcuts, what we're going to do, the last year JEE questions, because you need to you need to make out that okay, whatever we have studied, it is being used and you are able to do that last year JEE questions. Okay, so when you do the last year JEE questions after studying any topic, then you get, your confidence gets boosted up that okay, I have done something and now I'm being able to solve the last year question. That means I am ready to solve those questions in my JEE paper as well. Okay, so this is the motive that I always do last year JEE questions after every topic. And also like we can have a little quiz of the formulas. Okay, because these come a lot, and sometimes it comes straightforwardly in your paper. So we will also have a short quiz for the formulas as well. And one thing more, because I do the last year JEE questions because you need to know how is the level of question. Okay, to get to know about the level, that is why we do this last JEE questions, because once I was explaining some questions and someone said that the questions level are very easy. So who am I to define the level? I am nobody to define the level. This is the JEE level. So that is why we do the last year JEE questions, because this is the level. And if it is easy, if it is difficult, this is what you have to do. That is it. Okay. Now, this was about the flow of our class. I hope this is very clear. We'll do all these things. I hope you will enjoy today. Okay. So, firstly, see what does this grouped and ungrouped data means, because this is going to come in every topic. In every topic, grouped and ungrouped division will become. Okay. So, see, grouped and ungrouped. I'll tell you what, you already know mean, median, mode. You know the formulas we studied in junior classes as well. So whenever we have that, odd term, we get n plus 1 by 2. Okay. So how do we do this simple formulas? Simple formulas. Like we need to find the median, we need to find the mean. You just find out the average and you are done. So whatever was the simple thing which you did now, that was for the ungrouped one. Okay. For the grouped one, we have different set of formulas. We have different terms. We have frequency, we have x, we have, we have lower limit, we have higher limit. So for the group distribution, we have a lot of terms coming upwards. Okay. And for the ungrouped data, this is a simple thing which you have already been doing from your junior classes. So this is what it means. Okay. So now you already know that when you have to go through the basics and when you have to know the group data, data formulas. Okay. I hope this is clear. Why do we divide everything into grouped and ungrouped? When you know that the data is ungrouped, you can easily solve that question by applying that formula which you already know. When you know that data is grouped, then you have to do the formula thing. When you have to apply the whole formula, you have to write the terms, you have to get to know that this is what f is, this is what that is. Okay. Now I have made around 3 pages notes. So this will be like a quick recall of all the theory. I'll complete all the theory today. And guys, you have to make the notes for statistics, because you are going to forget the formulas, you are going to forget everything, and you cannot afford to forget that, because this is what is going to fetch your marks. Okay. So write it down with me on your notebook, or if you want to take screenshot or write it afterwards, then also. But I'll tell you what, there is no after, does not come. Okay. So I told you about the terms, that is grouped and ungrouped. Now we will talk about the mean, median and mode. So firstly, I'll just write whatever it is. See, firstly we'll talk about mean. So mean, already some people know that this is also known as average. We call it as average because when again this grouped and ungrouped, in ungrouped data we can easily find it in the formula of average, but in group data we have to find out in the traditional way. See how it is done. We can write it as, we can also call it as average, we also know it like that. So it is represented as x bar. Okay. Now for the ungrouped and grouped data, we have ungrouped, we have grouped. Okay. So for the ungrouped data, we have this. See, for the ungrouped data, we, as it is in the question said, that there are 15 students with these marks, that is 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 60, and like that only. So this is so I am writing in the generalized way for observations x1, x2, xn. Mean is, and xi, so I, from where it will start, 1 to n. Okay. So it will go from 1 to n, and what we will divide it from n, just like average. I already told you, for the ungrouped this is the simple thing. For the ungrouped you don't have to do a lot of things, but for the group data you have to find out the frequency that affects upon f. If you remember, just a recap. So we have these observations. For observations x1, x2, 3, xn, with frequencies f1. See, frequencies, what does it mean? That x1 is occurring f1 times. So here the question is like that x1 is the observation which is occurring f1 times, x2 is occurring f2 times. So we have all these frequencies of all these observations. Okay, that is how we call it as a group data. Okay, now what is the mean formula for this? The mean formula for this is, we multiply it. See, f1 into x1 plus f2 into x2 plus f3 into x3. So how do you write it? You write it as fi xi, and then you sum up the frequencies, it gets divided. Okay, this is the formula for the group data. So whenever you have to find out the mean, this is the formula for the group data. What do you have to do? Fx, see, f1 into x1 plus f2 into x2 plus f3 into x3 dot 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 till n, and upon the total sum of the frequency, that is the sigma f, all the frequencies sum up, and that you divide it by. Okay, so this was about the mean. This is about the mean. We have this distribution of data that is grouped and ungrouped. I hope this was clear to you all. Okay, now we have a median here. Okay, median. What does median mean? See, mean, you already know that it is the average. Median is median, middle. Okay, it means the middle term. So whenever, see, like just a normal observation, you already know this. When you have the odd terms, okay, now you know that for odd terms, what you do is n plus 1 by 2. And for the even terms, what you do is you have those two terms, that is that n by 2 and n by 2 plus 1. Okay, you know it that these are the terms, n by 2th term, n by 2 plus 1th term. Okay, but for the group data, again for the group data, there will be different things, because the question will become a little upgrade level for the group data, because we have, just like in the median we have this observation and frequency, just like that we have in the median also. So how do we do it? You I hope you have taken the screenshot or you have written all this. Okay, now we will move forward with the median. So here we have median. So that is what? Middlemost. As I said, median, middlemost, or you can say it as a central term. And when it is said, because data should be arranged in an order. Okay, like how can you say that this is a central term? That means that the data is arranged in ascending order. This is very important, because maybe sometimes you have this raw data that is given in the question and you just find out the median and you have written that this is the data. No, this, you cannot write it like that. You have to first sort it. Okay, so the data should be, so data is sorted in ascending order. That is where you get to find the median value. Okay, now again we have this ungrouped and grouped distribution. That is for the ungrouped and for the grouped. So here again n are the number of terms. Okay, so when n is odd, in this also, because n is odd, n is even, we have two distribution for the grouped and ungrouped. So n is odd when, so m is median, m is equals to n plus 1 by 2th term. Okay, just like I told you verbally. And when n is odd, you have to make all these notes. Okay, when n is even, what do we have? N by 2th plus n plus 2 by 2th. So, okay, but for the group we have different things. We have new terms here. Okay, for the group data, I'll tell you the formula and then I'll tell you what are these terms known as. Okay, so we have the formula for grouped as m is equals to l plus n by 2 minus h, that is the class size, by f. So what does L here means? What does F and what does CF means? CCF, I already think that you know, that is cumulative frequency. Okay, I'll just write it down. What is L? L is the lower limit of the class from which we are finding out the median. So we can write it as lower limit of median class. Okay, because you're finding the median, you can write it as median class. For the mode, you can write it as modal class. So lower limit of the median class. F, frequency. CF is cumulative frequency. I hope you know it, cumulative frequency. And H is what? Class size. Okay. So H is the class size, and this is the formula, that is L plus n by 2 minus CF upon F into H. So this is what is grouped. See, I already told you what is the basic thing which that will be followed in ungrouped data, and what are the new things that will followed in group data, because these are the formulas. Okay, you need to remember all these formulas whenever you will find out the group data is given in the question, and you have to find out the median. And if you don't know the formula, then what uses it, you are studying it, you are wasting your time if you cannot get that plus 4 marks. This should be the focus, that if I'm studying anything, I'm if I'm investing my time, the investment should be fruitful, right? The investment should be fruitful. So if I'm giving 1 hour, if I'm not being able to, let's just do it 2 hour, I'm doing it 1 hour webinar, you watch it again, and then you can do it 2 hour, but you should at least get that plus 4 marks. Because if you're watching this 1 hour webinar and still you are not getting plus 4, then you are just wasting your 1 hour. Okay, so you should never waste your investment. Time is money, and you are investing your time, you are investing everything. So never, always expect returns. You should always be wanting returns. Okay, so like, be a good businessman, businesswoman, and whatever you invest, just keep on doing that. Okay. Also guys, whoever is watching, whoever is liking the video, subscribe to the channel right now. Also like the video, it's free of course, just like the video, it gives us strength. Like whoever is watching, if he or she is liking the video, then we get to know that yes, we are doing good. Okay, so when you like the video, I feel motivated. I feel that okay, next time I'm going to do this more, these and everything like that, and I have to improve like that. So for the motivation, you can just like the video, it's free of course. Like the video and subscribe our channel. Okay, so now we talked about the mean and median. Then now we will talk about, before moving to the dispersion, I'll talk about mode. Okay, so before moving to the dispersion, we will talk about mode. I'll talk about mode here. Okay, so what does mode says? Mode is something that is most frequently, okay, most frequently occurring value, that is known as the mode. So you have the definition as most frequently occurring value. Okay, so that is known as mode. And when you have to find out the mode from a class, Kuldeep Salman, thank you for motivating. Thank you. So whenever you have these most frequently occurring value, that is known as the mode. In a when a data is given, you have raw values, and this value is repeating many times, and you can straightly write it as mode. But for the grouped and ungrouped, you have different things. Okay, so the most frequently occurring value, that is known as mode, and from whichever class you are finding out the class is given, that is known as the modal class for that question, because you are finding out the mode. And for the median, what did it call? A median class. And for the mode, you called it a modal class. These are the terms just telling you in general. Okay. Now we have again ungrouped and grouped distribution. I already, because first thing I told you about grouped and ungrouped, that is why, because I knew that in every term, grouped and ungrouped distribution is going to come. So we have ungrouped here. Same thing which I told you in general, that is going to be followed in ungrouped. That is the observation of maximum frequency. So whichever has the maximum frequency, that is going to be the mode of the class. Okay, so we are writing it as observation having maximum frequency. Okay, and for the group we have, again for the group we have different things. So for the group, a little big. So how do we write it as? We have this formula that is m is equals to L plus f1 minus f naught upon 2f1 minus f naught minus f2 into h. What is h? H is the size of the model class. What is L? L is the lower limit. I'll just write it. So how do you represent? This is the formula. This is very important. Okay. So we have L, that is the lower limit, and we are talking about the model class, lower limit of the model class. H is the class size. F1 is the frequency of the model class, that I'll write F1 frequency of model class. F2 is the frequency of the class succeeding the model class. Okay. So how do you know? See, F1 is the frequency of model class. F2 is the succeeding is the frequency of the succeeding model class, and F0 is the frequency of the preceding model class. Okay. So you know here F2 is the frequency of succeeding model class. Succeeding means what is the next, and F0 is the preceding one. Okay, so what do we have here? F1 is the frequency of the model class, F2 is the frequency of the succeeding. Okay, just 0 1 2, F0, F1, F2. So if F1 is the frequency of the model class, F2 is going to be the succeeding frequency, and so that is going to be the frequency of the succeeding model class, and F0 is going to be frequency of the preceding model class. Okay, this was about the mode. Now we will talk about the dispersion. So dispersion is what? Firstly, we'll go to the side of dispersion. Okay, so what is dispersion? Dispersion is something that is, we are deviating from our data. Okay, so dispersion, as the name suggests, dispersed. Okay, so that is what, like, we are deviation from the, if we're talking about the mean, we're talking about the median. Dispersion from the actual median. Okay, what is the value of that? So how do you write it as? So first comes the terms range in dispersion. Why does the term range comes? As the name suggests, maximum value of the distribution. Whenever you have to find the range, you get maximum value and minimum value, exactly like that. Maximum value of distribution minus minimum value of distribution. Okay, so we have this range, maximum value of distribution minus minimum value of distribution. Okay, now this is the range we are talking about. So dispersion is something which deviates from the actual data. Now if we know that this is what we are talking about, deviation. Okay, so what does it come? Mean deviation. We were talked about mean, so we will talk about mean deviation right now. So we have this term mean deviation, and this is one of the type of questions. See, mean and median done. Another type, that was standard deviation variance, we will cover it up. And the third type was mean deviation, which I told you. So this is the mean deviation question, comes from this topic. Okay, take it seriously. That is mean deviation. So we have mean deviation here, and again for every topic we have grouped and ungrouped data. Okay, so now for the ungrouped one, what do we have here is, like, we have in the mode, we have that this is the symbol of mean. We have, this is the deviation. Okay, about this, and deviation about median also, I'll write it here, about median. So how do we write it? Median, again same thing, just like that. The deviation, we have to calculate it by subtracting every value, how much it is deviated from the mean. That is what we are calculating here. We are calculating the difference and we are adding it up. So we are summing up the deviation. That is what we are doing here. You're getting the point. We have this observation, we are subtracting it from the median. Getting the difference? Again, another observation, we are subtracting how much it is deviated. So we are adding up the deviations here. Okay, so here We have that is about x bar and about median. And again, talking about the grouped one even. So we have here the formula becomes, you had the formula fi xi upon sigma fi. So exactly like that, we have fi frequency. It is not, it is not dependent upon the data, the values. Frequency is something which is the number of times the data is occurring. So that is not about deviation. So xi, the value that is, we talk about that deviation. Okay. So obviously we will subtract the values here. So that is why we write the formula like this, on sigma I is equals to 1 n fi. Okay, fi, you can just write it as n, that is the total number of frequencies. And about median, how do you write it? You write it as, okay, so we have this formula for median, like about median for the group data. For the ungrouped data, you have written it. Now you can just write it down. So I think it is very clear. You can remember the formula when like when I tell you the meaning, the for to remember those values, it is very easy now. When you see like xi minus m1, like what is this? But now I have told you mean deviation. We are talking about deviation. So how do you remember this formula? You have to calculate the deviation whenever something is asked. We have asked mean deviation, so obviously we'll calculate the deviation. So when you know that this is the mean and this is the value, so how do you calculate the deviation? By subtracting it, right? Exactly like that. You know the range, exactly like that. So when you just subtracted it, you got the deviation of that value. But there are so many values, so for all those values, you will do the same value and you will sum it up. You will sum it up and then you will divide it by the total number of times they are occurring. That is how you just calculate it, the mean deviation for the grouped as well as the ungrouped data. I hope this was very clear and this is very easy to remember to you if I've told you the actual meaning. Okay. So now this was about the mean deviation. Now what we will talk about, that was the third type of our question. What was that? Variance and standard deviation. Okay. Quick table I'll tell you later on. Firstly, I'll tell you about the variance and standard deviation here. Okay. So we will talk about variance and standard deviation. Okay. So how do you represent it? You represent variance. If you represent standard deviation as this, so what does variance become? It becomes the square of standard deviation. So it's easy. If you are given the standard deviation, you can get the variance by just squaring it up. If you are given the variance, you can get the standard deviation by getting the positive square root of that. Okay. So how do you write it? You write it as standard deviation is equals to plus under root of variance. Okay. This is the relation of standard deviation variance. So you have to get the plus of the under root value. Okay. Now what do you write it as? Define it as the mean of the squares of the deviations from mean is called variance. So you get to know what is variance. Variance is something we are talking about the squares. You remember the squares. You just remember variance is squares. Okay. So how do you calculate these square? How do you calculate the variance? You get the mean. Okay. You get the mean of the deviation. Okay. You square it. Mean of the squares of the deviation. You square it up. You sum it up and you divide it by the number of values. You get the variance. That is what it is saying. Mean of the squares of the deviation from mean. Deviation from mean, you calculated the deviation from mean, now you square it up. You square it up, you got the deviation. Now you have to calculate the mean of the deviation. You are getting it. Deviation from mean calculated, squaring, plus, see, deviation from mean calculated. Now you have all those values. Now you have to square it up. added up and divided by the values. That is what it becomes, a mean of the squares of the deviation from the mean. Okay, this is what it is saying. So it is visualizing. Now I'll just write it down for you guys if you get confused, because maybe it's some people's first time you're getting to know about this. So I'll draw the table for the variance as well as the standard deviation. So we have here is the ungrouped data again. So you calculate the variance. See, I'll tell you the variance and you can calculate the standard deviation just under root of that. Okay, so I'll write the variance formula. So how do you get it? That is the 1 by n. N is the number of times that data is. Okay, I is equals to 1, n. N is, I'll just write it here only. After group I'll write. Okay, sigma I is equals to 1 n. We have xi minus x square. What I told you, the deviation from the mean, you have to square it up and then you have to calculate the mean of all those deviations. So how do you sorry, how do you calculate the mean of those deviations? Summing it up and dividing it by the number of times they're occurring. This is what it is saying. What do you have to do? Calculate the deviation for every value from their mean, and then you have to do it like this. This is what I was saying, and now you can see it in the formula. Okay, now talking about the group data. The group data, we have 1 by n. Okay, this is how you write it out. And what is n? You already know it. That is the frequency sum. Okay, so this is what it is talking about. Just like that, you know the variance meaning. If you know what does this term is, what is the actual meaning of this term, then you can easily write the formula. Even you can easily, it is very easy to remember. What you have to do is, you don't have to remember, you have to understand the things, and when you understand them, you remember them automatically. Okay, so this is by default. When you have understand something, you will get to remember that thing forever. Okay, now we have some alternate formulas as well. Okay, I'll tell you the alternate formulas. The alternate formulas for ungrouped were, these are the alternate formulas. I just used another ink. Right. So the alternate formulas looks like 1 by n. You can also use this formula. Okay, and this is for the ungrouped one. Okay, and for the grouped, what you can do here is 1 by n. Okay, this is for the grouped and this is for the ungrouped. So we have this alternate formulas. Why I have written this alternate formulas? Because sometimes the data is given like that. So if you have been, if you know that the data is given like this, then you can straightly use this formula and get your answers. Okay, and now we will start doing some questions. So I have told you the theory, and now we will start doing the question just like that I told you in the workflow. Okay, one thing more, that is the coefficient of variation. Okay, so I'm just writing it here just not to miss anything, because if anything is asked. So we have the COV, that is known as the coefficient of variation. What does it say? CB is equals to sigma by into 100. What it is used for? It is used for comparing the dispersion of two series. It is used for comparing dispersion of two series. Okay, this is what coefficient of variation is. Whenever it is asked in the question, you can straightly go to this formula and you can write it that, like, it is used to find the dispersion of two series. Now we will do some last year questions. So let's just straightly jump to the questions. So the first question says, let me see, and also I'll tell you what, I just came across a little thing and then I was like, we should do it like that only. So let me just find some good questions, some recent questions. Okay. Okay. So this is the question. Now I'll tell you what. Some people say that I can complete the question, but I don't know how to start the question. I'm not able to start the question. If I'm able to start the question, then I'll do the question. So how do you start the question? How do you know that this is going to happen? So for that, what I did was, I have decided that I will do the questions first hand here. Okay, that means I will find the questions right now. I'll write the questions, and in front of you, I'll do the questions. Okay, so you will know that how do I do the questions, what is the thought process when you do that question. Okay, you need to know that what you have to know and what are the things which get used when you do in that question. So this is what I'm like, it is like opening my mind in front of you, that this is how we have to do the question. Okay, so let's just start doing the question. We have this okay. Okay, and one more thing, in this binomial distribution is being used. I hope some people of you know. So I'll just write the question quickly. So this is a question of JEE Main 6th September 2020, shift 2 2020. Okay, so we have considered the data on X taken the values 0 to 4 8. This video is like a one shot video for statistics. Okay guys, so if you have watched this video, you have completed the whole course of statistics. You can attempt the questions of JEE. Okay, frequencies NC0, NC1, NC2 till NCN, okay, respectively. If the mean of this data is 728 2 to the power n, then n is equal to, okay, consider the data on X taking the value 0 2 4 8. Okay, so we have 0 for NC0 times, 2 for NC1 times, and 4 for NC2 times. That is what the question is saying. Okay, if the mean of this data is given, mean is given, then n is equal to, mean is given and n is a term that is used in that. So simply we will calculate the mean by using the formula. Okay, so how do you calculate the mean? I already told you guys. What was the mean formula? That was sigma fx upon sigma f, right? So we have mean formula is sigma fi xi upon sigma fi. Okay, now what do we have here? Sigma fi xi. What do we have? 0 into nc0, 2 into nc1. Here the binomial concept will use. If you know the binomial concept, then it will be going to easy, and if you don't know, then you have to go through that concept, because that is going to be a lengthy one. I have to show you a series, so I can just write down what does this series mean. I think it seems like that. So 0 into NC0 plus 2 into NC1 plus 4 into NC2 plus dot 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 till what it is? It is still 2 to the power n into NCn upon sigma fn. What is sigma fn? That is NC0 plus NC1 dot 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 till NCn. So this is the thing which you all know. What does this series mean? NC0 to NCN, what does it equate to? It equates to 2 to the power n. Simple. So what does it equate to? It equates to 2 to the power n here. Okay, what do we have here? See, now you can take it as we have NC0, NC1. So here we have 0, 2, 4. Just like that, we have 2, 4, 8. So we have this 0, 2, 2 square, 2 cube, 2 to the power 4. So we can write it as even. So how does the series was maintained? The series was maintained like 2 plus 1 the power n plus 1 minus 2 to the power n. I hope you know how I have done this. If you have not, then you need to know this binomial concept. I have already told you that this is a series, and you are going to write it like this. Like it is going to be 1 plus 2 to the power n, 1 minus 2 to the power n. So what does this equate to? 1 plus 2, that is 3 to the power n, plus 1 minus 2, that becomes minus 1 to the power n, minus 1 to the power n, minus 1. Okay, minus 1 upon 2 to the power n. Okay, and what does it is given? 728 upon 2 to the power n. So what does it equals to? Is equals to 728 upon 2 to the power n here. Okay, so we can just get it, 2 to the power n gets cancelled it out. Okay, now we have 3 to the power n is equals to 727. Again, for the series we have n is equals to 6 here. Okay, this was the question. It was very easy question. All you needed to know here was how to break that series into that 1 plus 2 and 1 minus 2 to the power n. So this is the very, this is the concept that is repeated in JEE Mains. Then whenever they ask question, they mix another concept there, because they need to know that you have covered all the topics. Okay, so in JEE Mains you cannot skip any topic, guys. So if you knew this thing, when you have the series 0 2 2 square 2 cube 2 4, and you can do this thing 1 plus 2 1 minus 2, it was like a cakewalk question for you all. It was not a difficult question. Okay, now doing another question. Okay, for another question we have, this is the question from, see, statistic question are so easy. All you need to know is just the formulas, guys. If you know, if you are familiar with the terms, and I have covered all the terms right now in this webinar, so you cannot skip this. Now we have this question from 10th April 2019. Okay, so we have here is, if for some x belongs to R, the frequency distribution of the marks obtained by 20 students. So 20 students in a test. So what is it given as? Marks and frequency 2, 3, 5, 7, x plus 1 square, 2x minus 5, x square minus dx x. Okay, so we have this table. Now what does it given? Simple thing, firstly just apply the common sense here. So here what is it given is, this is the table and frequency distribution marks obtained by 20 students. So it is strictly given 20 students, and here the frequency is given. So what does it mean? That when you sum it up, then the frequency is going to be 20 exactly. So what do we write here is x plus 1 square, summing it up, 2x minus 5 plus x square minus 3x plus x is equals to 20 here. So what do we get here? X square plus x square, 2x square plus 2x plus 2x, 4x, 4x minus 3x, we get x plus x, 2x. We have plus 1 here, minus 5, that becomes minus 4, and here become 20. So minus 4 minus 20 becomes minus 24. Simplifying it, x square plus x minus 12 is equals to 0. We have two factors, 4 and 3. X square plus 4x minus 3x minus 12 is equals to 0. X plus 4, and then we get minus 3. So we have x minus 3, we have x plus 4. Okay, now you guys know x cannot be equal to negative value. Okay, so obviously x is going to be equal to 3. You have this because x cannot be negative. X cannot be negative. So you can get the value straightly here. So what does it mean? X is equals to 3. So 3 plus 1, 4. 4 square, that is 16. So I'll just write it here only 16. Here 3. 3 to the 6, 6 minus 5, 1. We have x 3 here. Okay. 3 to the 9, 9 minus 9, that becomes 0. We have 3 here. Okay. So we got it. And now what we can do here is, what you have to find, if for some the frequency of marks obtained in a test, what is the mean of the marks? Okay. We had to find the mean. Mean of the marks. So mean of the marks, the total frequency was 20. So what do we got here? Mean is equals to divided by 20. We sum it up. That was 16 to the 32 plus 3 0 3 sevens are 21. Okay, because 0 multiplied something like that. So 0 multiplied to that will become 0, so we will not add that value. 32 plus 3, that becomes 35. 35 plus 20, that becomes 55. 55 plus 1, that becomes 56. That becomes 56 by 20, and that becomes 2 to the 4, 2 is 16, that becomes 2.8. Okay, 729. What 729? Ashwata, what you are saying, 729, I don't get that, what you are trying to say by 729. So here we have this mean, we calculated it, we got the answer. So what does this, like, it was asked in 2019 paper. Was it difficult, guys? No, it wasn't difficult. It wasn't difficult. What did you do? You knew 20 students were there in total. So you calculated the cumulative frequency and you got the value of x. Then you got what are the number of students for every interval. Then for that formula mean, that formula what I've used here, which formula I've used here, that is sigma fi upon sigma fi. Is it clear? This is the formula being used here, okay? So this was the question for 2019. Now we will do one more question here. Quickly we'll try to complete one more question here, okay? So this question is from 2019, okay? So we have this question 2019, 9th April. Okay. So we have mean and median of the following 10 numbers. Okay. Mean and median of following 10 numbers in increasing order. That is 10, 22, 26, 29, 34, X, 42, 67, 70, Y, R. This is given mean. Mean is 42 and median is given 35 respectively. Then Y by X is equal to, okay, simple thing, mean and median is given of these 10 numbers, and these 10 numbers, out of these 10, X and Y, like 2 numbers are missing. You have to find out those numbers. You have to find out the numbers and you can just easily divide Y by X. Like this is like integral type question, okay? So you can solve this question. We have these 10 numbers. Now you know the formula for mean, you know the formula for median. How do you get it? The mean formula is sigma xi upon n, okay? So you will form two equations for mean and median, and then you have two unknowns x and y. Two equations, two unknowns. Simple thing. Let's just do it. 10 plus 22 plus 26 plus 29. Okay. So firstly I'll write x plus y plus n. What is the n value? N value is 10 here. And what does this say? 10 plus 22, that becomes 32. 32 plus 20, that becomes 52, 58, 58. It is 29, 58, 68, 78, 88, 87, that becomes 87. 87 plus 34, that becomes 91. 91 plus 30, that becomes 121. 121 plus 70 becomes 181. 181 plus 42 becomes 221 plus 67, that becomes 300. Okay, so it comes 300 here. X plus y plus 300 upon 10 is equals to 42 given. Okay, so what do we get here? X plus y is equals to 420 minus 300, that becomes 120 here. Okay, this is our equation 1. You can write it like this. Now we have median here. Median, what does, see, we have 10. 10 is even. So So what will be the median? The median will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This and this. Okay, that is fifth and sixth term. That is 34 plus x. Okay, so what do we got here? We have, I'll write it like this, that t fifth term, like fifth term, the sixth term upon what it is 2. Okay, this is how you calculate median. Why? Because n is even here. Okay, n is even here. So what do we get here is 34 plus x by 2 is equals to what it is given, 35. So we have, we are going to solve this equation. We have here is 34 plus x is equals to 70. X is equals to 34 plus x by 2 is equals to 35. That becomes to 70. X becomes here 36. X comes 36 here. Okay, instead of solving the equation, in the one equation only we got the value of x. So what will be the value of y here? You can get the value of y here, 120 minus 36, that is 120 minus 36, that is 84. Okay, we got the value of 84. What it is asked, the answer that is asked is y by x. So what is y by x? That is 84 by 36. So it is 2. No. 84 by 36. Yeah. So what it is done, we have to, it is not getting one number thing, it will be a fractional value. Okay, so we will get here is 3 times, this is 7 times, 12 3 30, 12 7 84. So it will come 7 by 3 here. The answer will come 7 by 3. So this was the question of 2019 9th April. What was different in this question? Nothing. The mean value we used, we knew the formula, we calculated the mean here. We calculated the median, we got the value of x from that. So from that equation, from mean, we just substitute in before question. If you have any problem, I'll just repeat all these 3 questions and we'll just wrap it up. Okay. So in 728, okay, no. See, that was 728 written here. Okay, but here we have 3 to the power n minus 1 is equals to 728. 2 to the power n to the power n gets cancelled out. Okay, the denominator gets cancelled out, and now we have 3 to the power n minus 1 is equal to 728. So 3 to the power n will be equal to 727. 720. Okay. We have to, okay. That was thing. Okay, but n is going to be equal to 6. Okay, so that okay, I just missed that thing. It was 729. Yeah. I did it in my mind and I just wrote it like that. I don't know. Okay, so this was 729. Thank you, Ashrita. And see, this is what happens when you do it for the first time. You know, sometimes it stays in your mind and you just write another thing. And right now, I'm also speaking what I'm thinking. Okay, so this is what you can learn, that while doing the first question, you have to think it like that. I did it n is equal to 6, but sometimes maybe some people did mistake and they are not able to get the power thing. Okay, so these are the silly mistakes you make while doing the questions. So you have to skip that thing. Okay. Yeah. I corrected it, Ashita. So this was about the first question. The first question, simple thing, we just wrote the mean and we just used the binomial distribution series thing, and you just write it as 1 plus 2, 1 minus 2. That is x plus y, x minus y. In that binomial class also, I have told you about this thing. So I hope you have remembered that series. And in this formula, what we did was, we were given that the total frequency is 20. So what we did is, we just sum up and that was equals to 20. We just calculated separately and we just did all the thing. And this, it was simple mean and median formula. Okay, so this was it for today's class, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. So, and also you have liked the video. Okay, like the video, it's free of course and gives me motivation as well. So I'll work better, I'll work hard, and we will grow more. So like the video right now, guys. Okay, so mean, median, mode. What is mode? The most occurring value. For grouped and ungrouped, you know, for ungrouped, just straightly whatever frequency that is the most of that element, that is going to be the mode. For the group data, you have this formula, and we have lower limit frequency, f0, f1, f2. F1, what was that? F1 was the frequency of the model class. F2 was frequency of the succeeding model class. F0 was the frequency of the preceding model class. You have to remember the terms also. What is the meaning of that instead of just only the formulas? Okay. So this was the formula that L plus F1 minus F0 upon 2 F1 minus F0 minus F2 and into H. Okay. So this was about the mode. This was about the middle. That is the middlemost element you have to calculate. And when the data is arranged in ascending order, like data is not in unsorted way, you have to be arranged in that ascending order. Then only you can calculate the median of that number. Okay. And for ungrouped and ungrouped, you know that n is odd, then n plus 1 by 2, and for n is even, you get n by 2 plus n by 2 plus 1 term. And you know this was a simple formula. The grouped, you have this L by 2 minus Cf into H by F, where Cf was cumulative frequency, L was lower limit. Whenever the class is given, you can calculate the lower limit. Lower limit is already given, you can just use it like that. H is the class size here. Subscribing the channel, done. Okay, range, you have to calculate the maximum value, minus minimum value, exactly like that. Whenever you have to find out the range, you just do it like that. Only in the real situation also, you have know that how do you calculate the range. You do it like that. Mean deviation from the mean, exactly like that. Grouped and ungrouped, you can calculate like that. Whatever is the deviation of that particular value, you just sum it up and you get the value. Okay, so how do you do it? You calculate deviation for one particular value, and then you just find the mean. You just find the mean of all those deviations. This is what this mean deviation is. Okay, now we have this variance formula. Variance is what? Variance is the change. It is you're talking about the dispersion. Okay, and what, how does it calculate? It is calculated by the squares of the deviation. Okay, so you have to calculate the squares of deviation, sum it up and divide it by the number of values. Okay, this is what coefficient of variation. This is a term. If it is asked directly in the question, you can just easily write it sigma by x into 100 x bar, that is the median. Okay, so this is calculated for the comparing of the dispersion of two C's. Okay, now we have this variance. Now we have this paper just frontal. Hello, you were very late. I'm just trying to wrap it up the whole class, and we are good to go for today. I hope you will enjoy the session. You can watch it up later and just let me know whatever problem you are facing it out. I can help you out. And for the next time, be on time, guys. And this is like a one short video for statistics. If you have done all the theory, if you have done all these three questions, you know nothing else was used in the questions. Okay, so if you have done this webinar, you are good to go for all the statistics question. Plus 4 marks is in your pocket. Okay, that is it for this. And now you have known the formulas for variance, that is grouped and ungrouped formula. Okay, this was it. 3 questions done. So the recap of the session is completed, guys. I hope you have enjoyed the session. See you soon. Stay healthy and take care, guys, of yourself as well as your family. Hope to see you soon. If you have liked the video even a bit, just like the video right now. It gives us so many motivation, and you can put it in the comment section as well, whatever you liked or whatever you don't like. Okay, and it will help us to reach you, guys. It has helped us to connect to you guys. So that is it for today, guys. Hope you have enjoyed the session today. Take care. Bye bye.